We haven't had a clean, crisp pop in a long time.
I was just waiting for the dogs to bark right in the middle of
I
that
know
one.
that I
Man.
was wondering that as well. It's about to go down.
It
over
is.
there.
They're going to fight.
Yeah.
and- That was spicy. All right, we are back for episode 10. Guys, 10 episodes. We've made it. Almost.
No sponsors yet, though.
No sponsors yet. We are all enjoying, Trevor's not. Gosh. Enjoying a nice cold hams right now.
Wilson brought one.
Not a sponsor, but could be.
Aspen's going to have a hams as well, so
She might.
that'll even it out.
She might. Football started.
Sure did.
Week 1. Almost
glorious-
done. Monday Night Football tonight.
Glorious, glorious hour.
You excited? Were you just
Love
in
football.
heaven on Sunday?
I was. This is definitely my element. Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday. Friday's a little much. I'll throw that out.
When is the first Friday game? Oh, no, never mind. I take that back. The Eagles played the Packers.
Yep.
But that's not every week, is it?
No.
Okay,
No.
I should have asked.
No.
When is the next Friday game?
It's probably Black Friday
Okay.
because they're gonna do a Black Friday game, but they're also doing some games on Wednesday this year because they're doing a Christmas game,
Yep, I knew you said that.
which is odd. It's they're really doing a good job of captivating, the masses to make sure you don't have to talk to your family members. But the other part of it is the NBA. That's supposed to be their big holiday. Is like have a bunch of Christmas games, right?
I never even thought about that.
Like that's kind of their corner. This is when they get to play, or like Martin Luther King Jr. Day is another one where they play all day. But
Now
like,
got to play around it.
but like Christmas is when you get the marquee matchups. Like that's when you get the big
Yeah.
ones.
That is true.
Timberwolves playing this year on Christmas.
Has that been announced? Who are they playing?
I think the Spurs.
Is it
Yeah,
Wemby?
I know they play the marquee game for Game 1 against the Lakers.
Yeah, they're going to get some primetime games.
Mm-hmm. They
this year.
deserve it.
Wolves back. Wolves back. Welcome back to episode 10 of the podcast. We are going to dive straight into it. We're going to talk about some pre-game meals or game day spreads. And then we're going to hop into week 1 reactions. Matt might want to go on a little rant about good old Kendrick Lamar being announced as the Super Bowl halftime performance at this year's Super Bowl in New Orleans.
New Orleans, yeah.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. We're going to get into some bold predictions, see if any of them changed up over the last couple days. And then I got some rapid-fire questions, NFL style, for Matt and Trevor, since they know a lot more about football than I do, and I'm just here for good games. And Matt's fantasy teams.
Which are both currently winning, and I'm just the best. I don't know how else to say it.
1-0.
Even after a
Yeah.
crazy first week.
I piss
still working out.
excellence. Doesn't matter. They could be a crazy week 1. My team is still great.
No injuries?
Actually, David Njoku has a high ankle sprain, so we might be in some trouble. there.
Rams?
No, Browns.
Browns.
Tight end.
Who just got hurt? I don't know.
Puka
what-
Nakua got hurt.
Rams
Who-
were
yeah,
losing
that-
And
everybody.
he's going on the IR for 4 games. Oh, not 4
4
years.
years.
Wow,
He
that's a bad
gone.
injury.
Injured.
He gone.
He's actually fully paralyzed.
Oh my goodness!
They
Yeah,
expect him to come
MCL,
back in 4
MCL,
years.
and bone bruise, I think it was. So let's hop into it, fellas. Let's get into the perfect game day meal or game day spread. What are you going with? What do you like? What do you don't like? Is there anything that is bad during a football game? That's the question.
Absolutely. There's stuff that's bad.
Like what?
You want milk?
No. Yeah, good point. Good point.
Like, there's definitely bad, but let's focus on the good. I feel like a number 1 draft pick has got to be wings.
100%.
Yeah.
That
It's
was my number
also
one.
like the most common, but yeah.
It is. It's basic, of course.
Yep.
But some wings can really make a difference. Hot dogs. We were at a tailgate on Sunday at Whistle Binkies on the Lake. They're not a sponsor. They should be,
That'd be sweet.
because I made a field goal on Sunday, folks.
Yes,
More
you
on that
did.
later. And hot dogs are just wonderful. Brats are great. I was at a game in Lambeau last year. Had a brat at 8:30 in the morning. It was incredible. It was incredible. I went and got like 2 more. It cost me like $20. It was ridiculous.
Sauerkraut? Onions?
I did not get sauerkraut. I got onions.
Mustard?
Only mustard.
Good.
No ketchup.
That's how it should be, Trevor.
Okay.
Wings are number 1. Smoked wings.
You know what it actually is?
What?
Handheld items.
Yeah, like chips.
Something you
chip
can
dip
move around
and stuff too. And
Absolutely. Something that is portable, because if you're going to sit down, especially because, okay, so think about it. Like, you got to have food ready at 11 because game starts at noon. So you got to have, like, everything kind of prepped and ready to go. You don't want to be, like, seated in the dining room, then have to go over to the living room to watch TV, which I'm guessing for all of us, living room, dining room, we all just eat the slop off of our laps.
Yep.
So, like, it really doesn't matter. But you don't want... Like one that I think is probably pretty popular, especially in like colder times, is like chili. I don't know if I want to eat chili for a game day.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
don't
big
know.
on chili for game day either.
not
Chili
either.
on a hot dog, a chili cheese
Okay, yeah,
dog.
that's.
Now,
See,
now
talk
you're
about-
talking
something to
my
just
language.
put on anything.
Right.
Else, yeah,
Talk
sure.
about eating slop over your lap.
Yeah,
Man.
I you know,
Taylor wants his nachos so he can make a mess.
nachos. Yep.
Yeah.
But they're. Wait,
Uh,
no, they're more dirty than your wings for
They're
you?
more dirty than my wings. Yes. That's a whole nother conversation. But nachos are up there. Nachos are good.
Nachos are good.
Put them in the
crowd
broiler,
favorite.
cheese, some meat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wings, though, are number one. Smoked wings, and then you smoke them for a little bit. You take them off, and then you... What are they called at the Two Brothers? Decker wings?
Yep. The double decker?
Yeah, the double decker where you smoke them, and then you flash fry them, and then you put them on the grill again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that slaps.
Glinner's, the amount of money that we spent at
Yeah,
that
Glinner's
place
has them
for
too.
the Timberwolves run, they owe some sponsorship money as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
I have spent a lot of money at Glinner's.
Hey, if the Wolves
Yeah,
go
Just
on their...
consider us. We'll
probably
do a
spent
live
more.
podcast at Glinner's. Okay?
Exactly. If the Wolves...
How about a trade?
If the Wolves go on their run again, we're gonna have to... We might have to set up a live pod. Five...
Yeah.
10 people will be there, but we might have to set up a live
It'll be
pod.
really. Well, I guess it wouldn't be that crazy loud, but if they turn up the volume like that one day, the
that's
game was
true.
so loud you wouldn't be able to hear us.
But also, we would be watching the game, and then it wouldn't match up with the TV, but that's a whole other conversation, too.
True.
We need some pulled pork. We need, pizza's always good. You guys are going,
Pulled pork is actually probably that could be my number one
that
easily.
it's so easy.
Pulled
Yeah.
pork sandwiches or just pulled pork on a plate?
Either
pulled
way, I
pork
don't even care.
sandwiches.
But sandwiches makes more sense.
Okay.
You guys are going to a tailgate next month for Tennessee.
Yep.
When you go to the tailgate, what do you expect that you're going to get there as far as food goes? Like, what do you guys
Well,
want?
he's already been. to
Trevor,
this
what do you
thing
You're walking
expect
before,
that we're
so-
going to get there?
Most of the things we just listed for sure. I would assume there's chips and dips, and then there's going to be the wings,
Chips, dips, wings. Yep, you're so far right.
and then I would love for some pulled pork. That'd be great, but I don't know if that'll be there. That's not always there.
It depends if the pulled pork is kind of in our parking lot area. Because when you're there, you kind of can just bounce around, and everyone is, hey, come have fun, come party, do whatever. Last year, we had chips and dip. We had, in the morning, someone would go to Chick-fil-A, like 30 breakfast sandwiches.
That's not something I would normally expect at one.
Yep. So that's what we started out with. And then it was all chips and dips. It was hot dogs. It was brats. We had wings. We had, I think, pork chops.
Pork
I think were last year.
Now
because
that's mighty difficult.
there's grills there. Like we
Yeah,
didn't.
that's
We
more
didn't.
like
Like in our area,
they were
doing it.
tailgating, and then they
Yeah.
also had lunch. Is what that
Like, if you're
turns
going
into.
to pick that honking thing up off the grill and just walk around with it on the bone, then that's cool. I get that.
Yeah.
That makes some sense. But like the same thing with like a steak. Like you don't necessarily want a steak on game day.
No, you need finger food, like you said.
It's going to slow you down.
Yeah.
It's going to make you immobile.
Yeah. That tailgate's gonna be crazy.
It's not going to be good enough. Some nice cheese curds, popcorn,
I do like spinach artichoke dip.
solid.
That is. What dips were at Glinner? No, we weren't at Glinner. Sorry,
Whistle
What-
Pinkies on the Lake, a
what dip-
future sponsor of this podcast. Are
Yeah.
you talking about them?
I am talking about them.
Gotcha. Yeah.
They
so
have
they
dips.
They had spinach artichoke dip and some queso.
Queso was pretty good.
It's not too bad.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Not
For-
too bad at all.
But they do
8:30
chips, right? They
a.m.
don't do the pita.
They
bread
got
stuff.
chips and they got pita.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, baby.
Ah.
girl. Yep.
Because I like the
both.
bread option way more.
Well,
Not that there's anything wrong with chips too, but
So
like
pita is up there for you as far as a
with the spinach
game day.
artichoke, yeah.
Game day.
I would
spread.
say pita's up
Delicious.
there. Pita's up there for me too.
Yeah.
Pita's up there for me. Matt, top 3, go. Game day meal, game day foods.
It's got to be wings, pulled pork, taco in a bag.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay.
We've been
Yeah,
doing that
like
more
walking
often now,
tacos.
and I didn't even think
Or
of it.
can I
Yeah.
add an
Deb
honorable
has been
mention?
doing that. Yeah.
especially for like the London and Germany games, some like awesome breakfast burritos with like a nice spicy Bloody Mary.
Is that really? That's not typical. That's more
I didn't
like-
say it was typical.
Okay.
It's an
It's
honorable
an honorable
mention.
mention.
Honorable
A nice
mention.
big breakfast burrito. That's the fastest way to my heart.
Yeah. Oh, man, that sounds so good. Trevor, where are you going with top 3?
Pulled pork's up there. Get my spinach and artichoke dip up there with the pita. Then really just like any snack, I guess. Any chip and dip type of thing.
All right.
Doesn't
All
really
right.
matter.
Little buffalo chicken dip, maybe.
Something that I can just go grab
Ooh.
easily and go back and forth. Like,
See?
that would
Mhm.
be, yeah.
I'm going wings, and then I'm going meat, cheese, and crackers.
Ooh, that's a good
It's
one.
simple. It's quick. You
Yep.
can just grab it and go.
Mm-hmm.
You can put it a lot on your plate and be like, oh,
You can graze throughout the entire day.
exactly. And then I would go with, I would say, yeah, walking tacos. That's a hidden gem that
Yeah.
I didn't even think of.
It's easy, and
Yeah.
you can slop a bunch of stuff into it, and it's perfect.
I do like those little smokies in the meatballs too. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
the wheat, the
Mm.
little
Throwing in some barbecue sauce. And,
Mhm.
with meatballs
But
too.
you want to know what no one said? Any kind of dessert.
That is true. Who wants a dessert?
You go to a game day. Do you want dessert?
no.
No,
Exactly.
I mean, if you gave me a cheesecake, I'm not going to turn it down, but
but you're not
And
eating
then
it right
you're
away
not-
though.
If they could somehow create cheesecake on a stick
no, there you go.
that you can kind of just walk around with it, but no one's eating dessert. No one's having like ice cream or cake or
No.
anything like that. Candy, like that's never in the wheelhouse.
Trevor, your mom always has a dessert though. Always. That's a good point.
Yeah, but that's probably just because it's like sitting in the house
Yeah,
more so than
maybe.
it's actually
A
part of the
cupcake.
spread.
Maybe a cupcake,
Yeah.
but still,
Yeah,
I
that
find
makes
it
sense.
irritating because then that's going to take up valuable space for the 17 pieces of stray cheese I pick up throughout the game.
That
If
is
we get
true.
there too early, there's just donuts or something.
Yeah.
laying there, so
That's
like,
true.
I
That's
am a
true.
sucker for like a ice cream sandwich at the end of the day though, like something cold because you're eating hot food all day.
You gotta,
That's me, though.
You got to find a way to balance the salty kind of portion because
Yeah.
as far as savory goes, you're absolutely killing yourself
Oh, for sure.
in that department.
For sure.
So you almost need some fruit, which I'm not advocating for. I'm just saying out loud.
Berries only.
Berries only.
Berries only.
You
Taylor
know,
wants just watermelon.
I haven't had good watermelon in a long time.
You
What?
guys
just
have-
said that the one Danielle bought the other day was good.
That was like 2 months ago, and she hasn't gotten one since. So
grossest thing in the world is watching Taylor eat a watermelon. He'll eat the whole thing from ass to ass, rind to rind. No doubt about it. If we get 7,000 people that listen to this, he's going to eat an entire watermelon in one sitting.
And we'll stream it live.
Yep.
Love it. Matt, we gotta touch on good old Kendrick Lamar, who will be gracing the stage at Super Bowl. What Super Bowl are we on?
55 or 56.
55 in New Orleans. What do you think about that? That's your guy.
That was a good one.
That's what I think about it. God is good, you know. You lose so many battles in your life, and you just kind of go through the ho hum of day to hope that there's one single bright spot in a year, and then God just delivers on something great. Kendrick Lamar being the halftime show after the most, I'll say the most profitable and obviously the most streamed year for him in music,
Yeah, he went crazy this year.
in all of his disses against Drizzy.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
And definitely, this is a pro Kendrick podcast. I'll speak for the other two in
Very.
saying that I will not hear anything about how Drake is a good guy, certified pedophile, certified lover boy. I don't know
Wow, 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 wow.
exactly. Trevor, if Drake was going to hit a chord, which one do you think it would be? A minor is
Sure.
what the chord he
Okay.
would hit. Anyways, folks, it just feels like you win. And not you people. I'm sure you're all going to be very upset that Kendrick Lamar is on stage crip walking and having a great time. I just love Kendrick Lamar. I loved him since in college. I listened to his Good Kid, Mad City album every single day that I was on my way to campus from West Campus.
Great album.
I can't remember what my Spotify stats were that year, but I swear to God, I just listened to that thing backwards and forwards. Obviously he was in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, because he's under Dr. Dre's label.
He came out that year?
Yes.
With M, Snoop, Dr. Dre?
Yep.
He did.
So, and
Yes,
Mary
he
J.
did.
Blige.
You're
and,
right,
You know,
he
like
did, he
those
did.
types of
50
people.
Cent.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a part of a larger group, whatever. I love the fact that he's going to be on his own. And again, I think a lot of his songs are going to be the Drake songs that recently came
Does he
out
just
because
bring all those people that he's just way back out.
because he wants 50 million people to hear about how he thinks Drake should be like euthanized. Basically, he has no love lost for him. But as someone who's loved Kendrick for a long time, I really, really hope that he brings out probably not Kodak Black. That's not a good one. He got arrested.
Is he doing much anymore? I don't think he's doing much anymore.
He's not
music-wise.
He's not, but I think he might be on the same record or
Okay.
same label. So that's the only one that I would kind of think, well, maybe he's got a shot.
Yeah.
But Baby Keem, who is his nephew, actually, they went on tour a couple years ago.
Mhm.
Love Baby Keem. Definitely look up his albums. They are amazing.
I am right now on Spotify.
But you also have to think about like Kendrick, like the Black Panther album. Like he was kind of the main guy on that. So like SZA could come out, like Sway Lee, Anderson .Paak. There's just been J Rock, Future. Like there's so many guys that could come out. So many awesome people. Again, Mary J. Blige got a great song with Mary J. Blige off of the Good Kid, Mad City record.
Everyone wants Mary J. Blige out there.
I agree.
I'm a fan.
Even E40, San Francisco legend.
E40.
E40. How about
Talk about a throwback.
How about a way to bridge the gap? Poetic Justice is a
Ooh.
song featuring Drake. What if they come out together and perform?
And squash their beef?
And Kendrick kills him on stage. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Listen, this is for me. This is not for anybody else. I just cannot even imagine what most people are going to think when Kendrick Lamar and all of his friends are out there having the greatest time of their lives. I am so jealous that I'm not going to be able to go to the Super Bowl this year and see it on display because it's going to be amazing. Finally, this feels like when the Rolling Stones would play like every 3 years at the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yep.
And all the old people would be like, "Oh yeah, this rocks. I heard this 55 years ago." Now I've got my Rolling Stones.
Kendrick is your Rolling Stone.
Kendrick is my Rolling Stones.
Wow.
I liked Usher last year.
Usher was good last year.
I liked Rihanna the year before that.
Usher was good last year.
I loved Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, like all those guys, Snoop Dogg. I loved all of them together.
During this year's Super Bowl, I need to put tape on a lot of people's mouths. So there's not going to be chatting in the room when these songs are being played.
So you're that locked into Kendrick Lamar.
I like Kendrick a lot. And it was kind of like that with Usher last year. I wanted to hear what he was playing because I didn't know if he would do his new stuff or old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But man, just chatter.
And Trevor is looking off into the distance, has never heard of Kendrick Lamar.
No, I know who Kendrick Lamar is.
Oh.
I'm not as big of a fan as you guys are.
Are you a fan at all?
I'm fine with him.
You're fine.
Yeah.
You're glad he's here?
I don't really listen to his music very often, but
No.
I'd have no problem with it.
No, okay. All right.
Now, if George Strait was the Super Bowl
that would
halftime
be-
show.
Yeah, that'd really bring down the house.
Yeah.
Introducing George Strait and his corpse. Here to play. No, we're going to have somebody fun. Maybe Beyonce will come out.
No,
Who knows?
I'm a fan of Kendrick. I really do like his music, and it's not just melodies that he's singing. He's actually like putting stuff together, and I like the lyrical mindset behind like him, Eminem. I used to listen to only rap. I didn't listen to country for a long time.
And now you're an old hater.
And
so.
now I'm not a hater. I like country a lot.
Mhm.
I listen to rap during workouts mostly.
Okay.
Or like when I'm vibing on a Friday or like driving to the golf course. Yeah, vibes are high.
Just the last thing I'll say about this, I had to endure Coldplay as a halftime show.
What year was that?
That was a while ago. I think that was the Denver Carolina Super Bowl. You all have to endure Kendrick Lamar for me because I had to sit through Coldplay, and no one should have to do that.
What does that have to do with me?
I'm looking directly at you.
Yeah, okay.
You booked Coldplay for that Super Bowl.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Trevor called.
Yeah, you said Coldplay
is
has
exactly what I wanted.
to. Or, this is my regular thing, just let Bruno Mars do it every single year. and he can bring on a new rotating guest of people.
Yeah.
Just let him do it every year.
Yeah.
That seems fair.
He's great.
That dude can put on a performance.
Exactly. But no, this is my time. My time. Kendrick Lamar, my time.
I'm here for it. I like it.
I love you, Kendrick.
Kendrick's good. Week 1. Finishing up tonight with the Jets and San Francisco 49ers. What are our thoughts on week 1, guys? Football's back.
It's been wild
It has been.
and kind of terrible at the same time.
Let's do the Vikings last because you guys are homers and you're Vikings fans. Let's go through some other games.
I think just to start off with is I kind of had a feeling that the distance between the very best teams and the very worst teams was going to widen to such a degree that there, like, realistically, there might be multiple teams that win like 2 or less games this year. And I think that was on full display in week 1. It was just so sloppy. And this is the problem. They shortened preseason and lengthened the regular season. There's an emphasis not to have starters play in the preseason, especially if they're vets on big contracts. So there's no cohesion when you start, unless you're a team that's been together for a long time.
Yep.
Like, the only team that I thought looked like semi-fluid were the Lions last night.
I didn't watch any of that game. So
the Rams, for not having all their players, were looking okay. They were
but
holding
right.
their own.
But right, the Lions' defense looked like it did last year, where they were just an absolute sieve, giving up. Like, Cooper Kupp had 21 targets in that game, and he absolutely ripped them to shreds.
21?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
21 targets. But I just thought offensively, I'm like, oh yeah, they're just picking up exactly where they left off. And I mean, maybe the 49ers, they're going to show a little more consistency. McCaffrey's not playing, of course, but like, just no one is fluid. The Bengals, I mean, absolute dumpster fire.
Yeah.
You would think that game was a lock.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about our survival pool because I brought that up on one of our topics. But a lot
We
of people
don't
picked
need
them.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was not a lock.
It was,
I feel like my main takeaway is there's so many teams that are going to be so bad this year that there's going to be quite a few of them vying for that number 1 seed, and it's that number 1 pick in the NFL draft. And I don't think because they're tanking. I think it's because they're legitimately bad.
yeah.
No rookies really stood out, especially in the quarterback department.
But also, when you get that many of those teams, and then you also have a lot of somewhat mediocre teams that could lose or win to anybody, like, it's
Right.
going to throw off the records anyways.
The Saints will blow out the Panthers today,
And then the Panthers will come.
but next week when the Saints play Dallas, it's pretty realistic
yeah.
that score just flips.
They can get blown out because what was that,
Exactly.
40-3?
41 to like 17 or something
Okay.
like that. And I think you can flip that at any time where
Probably.
these mediocre teams are going to look like offensive juggernauts for 1 week, and then they're going to play a real opponent that might win 11 or 12 games, and they're
Yeah.
going to get shellacked.
So how's that work for the Vikings then? Because we get San Francisco next week, so that'll be fun.
I think it's undeniable that Darnold looked good in that game.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's
he did.
also undeniable that Giants defense is probably the worst
Yeah.
in the
true.
NFL.
But I mean, Darnold is kind of the same type of player as Kirk Cousins was. So like, he kind of fits into the system that we had drawn up.
I mean, he'll definitely do fine, but also we led that entire game. There was never a
Right.
doubt.
So yeah, once we get back to our normal only winning by 1 possession on the very last 2 minutes of the game.
Right. So next week when we play the 49ers, and maybe the game is close, getting late, do you feel confident that Sam Darnold is going to be able to drive down the field?
No.
Right.
I'm not saying that we're going to win next week by any means.
Home or
but,
away?
like,
I think that one's away.
I think so too.
Okay, so they're away.
So, but also on top of that, I think our defense looks solid.
But we're also playing the Giants too. So
Right.
like,
So this
it's
is the
hard
thing.
to tell.
Is like I feel like when we get to week 14 and we look back on those first couple weeks for the Vikings, when they haven't won a game in a month and a half, we'll be like, okay, that was just an anomaly. The Giants are horrible. Daniel Jones is
Well,
out.
I also think it
Daboll's
was
fired.
something that like Flores was like perfect calls when they gave us the time to make the calls, but when they did that speed up offense, we gave them a lot of yards, and it could be just because we were winning by so much. Like maybe we just were defending deep, and that was it.
Yeah,
But we've seen so many years of the Vikings defending only deep to let the team all the way back in the game.
So in a way, I feel like this can't be included in the sample.
Yeah.
Like, I feel this like this is just the outlier. I think any Vikings fan that feels a bunch of confidence, I wish I had that with you.
It's the
I'm
normal
optimistic.
Vikings thing. They give you some hope, a little bit of hope.
Right.
Just open the window a little bit.
Right.
And then who knows what to expect next.
You have the Giants on a list of could be possibly one of the worst teams in the league this year, along with the Raiders and the Panthers. So next week, if the Vikings show up and do what they did, maybe they lose, but if they play well, is that more of a tall tale sign or whatever the heck you call it, that they might be able to do something this year?
I would definitely feel a lot better if they were competitive in the game. Regardless if they win or lose. If they keep it close, then I feel like they definitely have something.
Yeah.
If they get blown out, then basically just chalk them up to nothing.
So the Giants game was then just, okay, that was the Giants suck. And,
yeah, if this next one stays close, honestly, with the Packers having a QB out for a good chunk of their season, like
what was that, 4 to
we
6
have
weeks?
some opportunity to sneak.
Yeah, so Love's out 3 to 6 weeks.
3 to 6.
I thought they said 4 to 6, but
well,
like
so they're looking at week. Actually, when the Packers play the Vikings, is when Love could come back. So I was kind of thinking about it as this could be a real chance for, and not just the Vikings, but the Bears too. So I think we're all
I don't
kind
know
of
about the Bears.
okay, but I think we're all in kind of agreement. Lions, that's kind of their division.
Yeah,
it's their division to lose.
They own this one.
Bears Vikings win in week 1. Obviously, Bears game was not all that convincing of a win for them.
They won off things that should not be happening.
Yeah, and Packers lose. But is this the window for those two teams to kind of slip in there with Love out? I know they say 4 to 6 weeks, but he really pushed it and almost got badly hurt, which means he could definitely have a setback in that MCL.
Did he play afterwards?
No.
No, they took him out. And it was the end of the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was their very, very last drive.
Oh,
Unfortunately, with just a few seconds left to try to come back.
that stinks.
But, like, this is an opportunity, and I guess you can open it up for more than just the NFC North, but teams like Dallas to really pull ahead. Teams for,
I don't
like,
think
the wild
Dallas is
card
going to
round.
have a problem. I don't think they have to worry about this.
No.
They're going to be more worried about, like, can we get the number 1?
Right, but also teams like Seattle, the Rams.
Yeah, all the wild card slots.
Yeah,
that
these
could be
wild card
opening up.
teams that are going to have to be like, okay, it's near the end of the year.
Yeah.
They're obviously not going to play the Packers at some point this year, probably.
Yeah, which is our thing, is like even if we do get second in our division somehow and sneak past the Packers, like does it mean anything for us? Like,
yeah,
who knows?
it just means we're the 7th seed and we got to go play Detroit on the road
Yeah,
or we got to play
exactly,
the 49ers on the road.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. I would say if they are able to make a push for the playoffs this year with Darnold as a quarterback, I do also think that really messes some things up next year for McCarthy.
Oh, no doubt.
So there's a part of me that is just like,
But I think
let
we're
Sam Darnold crumble so that McCarthy
should have
has...
just lost our first game if we're already going for that.
I know. That is just my overall concern, is just let's not mess anything up for the actual franchise quarterback that we have.
I'm standing with what I said before, and even doubling down on that more so now, is like 7-8 wins. We're gonna get it. We're gonna do it every year. We're gonna do it again.
And I'll stick with 5.
I'll ask you guys this every week because I actually enjoy kind of what you guys say about it. After seeing what they did in week 1, Vikings, are they, and I know it's so early, are they a playoff team or a wild card team?
No.
They're
No?
not
Okay.
a playoff team that can win.
Okay.
If things go crazy, they could slide in, but
Gotcha.
like it's not going to mean anything.
Gotcha.
Well, since we're talking about Jordan Love and the injury and everything like that, like, I don't know how much you guys watched from that Brazil game, but it's definitely a trend with all of these games that are in different locations. So Germany, London, they had a Mexico City game,
Yep.
and then obviously Brazil. And I'm not like saying like, oh, what a stupid idea to branch out all around the world, but it seems like NFL players, football players playing on soccer fields is ending up at some pretty bad results.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember a few years ago, Kyler Murray blew out his leg, blew out his knee when he was in Mexico City. It seems like everybody hates the travel over to London, and they just tear these fields up. And watching the Brazil game especially, because I think it had rained for most of the day, that field was just mud afterwards.
Turf
Yeah.
or real grass?
Real
Or an
grass.
artificial real grass?
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
real grass, and it was just ripped up, and people are slipping all over the place, and you're seeing on the sidelines, they're taking the spikes out and putting new spikes in to try to clean up stuff.
Huh.
And I just wonder at what point, like, how many more injuries have to happen for them to, like, understand that maybe this is not the smartest, most feasible option. Because I cannot personally imagine that these NFL players are like, oh, thank goodness, I get to go to Brazil for the
I
first
guarantee
game.
they don't want to.
They even said that they're excited for the season to start, but they're like, I don't want to go to Brazil. I don't know if they said it exactly like that, but they're like, okay.
But yeah, if you go to Brazil or London or anything, you don't want to go to play your game.
No.
Just like,
and I
go for
really,
other reasons.
I really just feel like for people that have not flown internationally, and again, I will say for myself, I am not someone who can sleep on a plane. When we flew to Germany, I was like messed up, like for about a day and a half.
When you landed?
When
you
we
got there?
landed, because, well, one, we had drove to Chicago to fly out of Chicago, so there's 4 hours. Now I'm on a plane for, I think it was 10
Gosh, that'd be so long.
or 11 hours. Again, this is to get to Germany.
And like nothing special seating, right? You were just kind of
Oh,
in
no.
a standard seat.
I don't have that Wessel Binkies on the Lake sponsorship money
You're
quite
right.
yet.
But I didn't know if like those longer international flights, they allow you for more room no matter what.
Oh, no.
They
no,
don't?
No, no,
Oh, man.
no, not unless you're going to pay, man. But I just remember getting there and being so disoriented on, like, what day is it? What time is it? I'm trying to navigate all this stuff. Obviously, the NFL have all the little caretakers and whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, how is this really boosting the ratings around the world that significantly?
Yeah.
I just don't think so, because nowhere else around the world are there, like, football leagues that are popping up. Like, it's weird to me that we don't play in, like, Canada. Like, we have...
that is
Yeah.
kind of weird.
It's strange to me that a place that is literally above us, where I can't believe we don't have, like, a Toronto team in the
Yeah.
NFL right now. Like, I'm pretty sure the Bills should have probably been in Toronto and not Buffalo, but whatever. But, like, it's weird that we won't play in Canada, but we'll go to Munich, and we'll go to Sao Paulo, and
Yeah.
like where else are we gonna go? Football's not an international game. This isn't basketball. This isn't baseball.
That is true.
Like,
Because
it's
they
just
have real
very odd to
football.
me. Right.
They have real football.
So what is the goal for the NFL here?
Money.
Well, obviously they're
Money,
getting
money,
paid just an extensive amount of money. But when is the players union going to, like, step up here and be like, it's all fun and games until our guys blow their legs out
Yeah.
playing in fields that are not good conditions?
Yeah, and then the
and-
next step will be the NFL just build stadiums out there for them.
Well,
Which, I mean, it's
Well,
not
you
like...
never know.
Well, actually, there has been some reports about, like, Mexico City possibly getting a team
Yeah,
in
I-
the future.
I did see
whenever
something
they
about
want to
that.
do an expansion thing,
But I
which
think
I would be
for them
shocked
to
by.
do that, I thought they wanted another team somewhere else too. That was
They would probably have to figure
Two
figure
teams.
that
there
They
you
out.
would
go,
need
Canada,
two teams,
right
right?
Yeah,
there. Perfect time for Canada to join.
yeah. If you want to build internationally, then, or I mean, obviously that wouldn't be very international if it's Mexico and Canada. But, like, how are you ever going to build internationally to that extent where it's like, oh, we have a London-based team? No one is going to want to play there. Nobody is going to
No.
want to do that travel. No one is going to ever
And they have to
want that.
travel for every single game
Yes.
coming to the States.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Yep,
goodness.
that'd be horrible.
Before we hop into rookies to watch, J.J. Watt made a comment. So he owns a soccer team, or he's part owner in a soccer team, and he made the comment about soccer fields and football fields and how the grass has grown different and the turf and all that stuff. Football players are heavy, they're fast, they're very explosive. Soccer, they're explosive, but they're not 250 pounds, 300 pounds. So I think that has a lot to do with it too, like the type of turf and the type of grass and all that stuff. So it'd be very interesting to kind of see, and we kind of know from past history that there are more injuries happening on turf and some of that other stuff that's going on. So
I mean, I think it's
it's
some of the
fascinating.
types of movement you do too. Like,
Oh yeah,
football,
for sure.
Every play is a sharp cut.
Yeah.
Every play. It depends on it.
Yeah, and
Soccer,
and
yeah,
soccer's
sure,
not
there is
doing-
some of it, but a lot of it's just like a sprint.
Well, that's what I mean. So that's why the turfs are different. Like
Yeah.
they're designed differently, and that's what J.J. Watt was making the point of. Like those,
Oh, sure.
international fields are not made for 300-pounders that can run 4, 5 40s and cut like that. So,
well, just imagine, just alignment alone, how different that is than soccer players.
Yeah.
Because they're just in the trenches, in the middle of the field, or slightly off center.
Mm-hmm.
But they're probably not the ones
Pounding.
getting hurt because of it.
No,
they're
no,
more
no.
so they're going to get hurt no matter what
Well,
because people are landing on them.
Aside from the CTE, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Even the skill players, though, like, they're huge. The skill players in football are big humans. Like, soccer players, they're tiny and fast. But I just found it curious what JJ said, so it was he made a good point.
Obviously there's just some ludicrous money, and honestly, if they say in 2 years they're going to go play in Saudi Arabia, I would not be shocked.
Well, what fields do they play on? Do they not play on the same fields as the soccer fields for rugby?
Ooh, that's a good
It's
question.
a great question.
Because those guys are not small guys, or some of them are not small guys.
Right, right.
I think rugby's more it's a more
Once again, it's not really a cutting as much. But
north
like,
and south game, though.
I agree, but well, the thing you have to remember is like all these receivers and the guys that are getting injured are just like every single time a receiver goes out, it's a sharp cut at their full speed.
Yeah. These dudes are fast, athletic. It's crazy. Non-contact injuries are definitely on the rise, but that's a whole nother topic. So, rookies to watch. Who do we have? Who do we like in week 1?
I mean, it's Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, he was nice.
Yeah,
He was just electric for the
he
Chiefs.
is fast. It's funny how Chiefs had Tyreek, and now they have this guy.
Yep.
Crazy.
Rich get richer.
Wild.
That's just what happens. That's just what happens.
And in 3 years, they'll have Matt's Noah Lyle pick.
That's right. That's right. Noah Lyles. Once he finally stops talking for a couple seconds, and then
people
can
stop hating on him.
Yeah, can join the NFL. I just thought Xavier Worthy in that game against the Ravens just adds a layer of challenge for all of these defenses going forward. Of he's obviously not Tyreek Hill.
No.
Like Tyreek Hill has some amazing skills. Just watch that 80-yard bomb he caught yesterday. It was like a clinic on how to run a route.
But to throw any small twist in the Chiefs' offense is like impossible to stop because
He
they
scored
already
his
have a
first
really good
touchdown on like a
offense.
jet sweep.
Right.
Yeah.
Literally
a
just
play that you run in high school.
And he wasn't even touched.
No, he wasn't. And what was that? 25 yards out? He just went.
Yeah,
His
about 20.
speed is obviously for real. Longevity is going to be a problem for him. He is just tiny. I mean,
maybe he'll never get hit.
Well, okay, that's the goal for him is just to never get hit or to go
Yeah.
right out of bounds.
I mean, we have Addison, who's tiny, and he's
Right.
Well, I mean, I shouldn't say that when he's hurt right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, but
like-
Addison left the game yesterday.
Yeah,
but
okay,
I get what you're saying.
But he survived for a majority of the hits that he's taken.
No, I thought he had an amazing week. I want to see something a little more dynamic out of him. It's very interesting that they don't have him on punt or kickoff because again, they're really concerned about that injury side of things.
Yeah.
But if Mahomes is trying 1 or 2 bombs to him a game, I mean that's like 2000 Rams greatest show on turf kind of stuff going on.
It makes me wonder if you got a QB like Patrick Mahomes, could Devin Hester have actually succeeded in that offense?
Devin Hester would have been Deshaun Jackson.
Okay.
That's
a
what
good
I'll
point.
call it.
Sure.
That's what I'll call it. Even though Devin Hester could not run a route to save his life.
Deshaun
But
Jackson he was literally sent to the end zone, right? And if he got past his guy, they threw it up to him.
the amount of times that his
That
stat
was
line
Donovan
in like the
McNabb,
first
too.
corner would be after the first quarter would be like 2 receptions, 100 yards, 1 touchdown for Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah.
Or it would go a full game and it would be 0 catches, 0 yards, like 7 targets or something like that. It would happen all the freaking time for Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah.
But
That dude was fast.
I also think Brian Thomas Jr. in Jacksonville, he looked pretty good. Trevor Lawrence made an insane throw to him in the back of the end zone. He's a guy from LSU. He's the other guy from LSU. Neighbors was the first one that went. But he looks great. They've got him on the outside, actually, so Kirk is on the inside. So there might be a pretty good opportunity for him to really take advantage of that offense. And as long as Lawrence plays okay, I know the Jags kind of crapped their pants yesterday against the Dolphins, but there's some real potential for him. Jaden Daniels played exactly how I thought he was going to play, like a maniac.
Washington Commanders, right?
Yeah.
He's the
because
quarterback?
He's got no offensive line. That dude just takes off.
He had, 80 yards for 2 touchdowns? Or did he throw one, too?
Oh, no, he only had rushing touchdowns.
He had 2
yesterday.
rushing touchdowns?
Yes, he
88
did.
yards rushing. Okay.
Gosh.
Did they still lose by 17?
They did.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, first game.
I can't remember what what sports commentator it was, but they were like, he runs around like Johnny Knoxville and Jackass. And now whenever I watch Jaden Daniels take off, I'm like, oh my God, it is. Because he's just tall and spindly, and he's got no meat on his bones.
Where did he come from last year?
LSU.
LSU produces some people.
Well, he's Heisman last year, man. He went to
Yeah, you're
Arizona
right.
State,
Yeah,
transferred
you're
to
right.
LSU.
Look at those wideouts too that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
They produce some wideouts.
Wide receiver central.
Yeah, I watched the highlights. This morning on him, and he was running. He definitely was running.
And this was a little less sexy of a pick, but this was actually a guy for the Vikings that I wish they would have had an opportunity for, but they would have had to trade up quite a bit. But Joe Alt, playing against probably one of the better defensive lines in football for the Raiders, Christian Wilkins and Max Crosby yesterday, gave up 0 pressures in his first game.
It's pretty impressive.
That's solid, man. To have a good left tackle for Justin Herbert, because they've got Rashawn Slater as well, who is an All-Pro he's an All-Pro as well. If they can have 2 good tackles on that team, and if they're going to push, especially a run-heavy offense with Dobbins and Gus Edwards, putting a lot on their plates to keep them healthy, the Chargers might actually have a run at it. Was that game ugly to watch? Absolutely, it was.
It was
I
bad.
didn't get to watch any, but I was just listening to it.
It was an absolute rock fight.
Matt and I had some stuff riding on that one. All 3 of us are in a survivor pool.
Mm-hmm.
One of our friends runs it, and there's 96 of us in the survivor pool from all over the country.
And it was a terrible choice to join.
And Trev went with the Cincinnati Bengals, which I ultimately did first, and then Matt did first. And then we get to the tailgate yesterday, or what is that? Yeah, yesterday. We get to the tailgate at 8:30 in the morning, and Matt's like, you said something. Are you still going with Cincinnati? No, you said, I changed my pick. I'm like, oh, crap. So if Matt's changing his pick, he's the NFL guy. I was like, shit, I got to change my pick.
Mm-hmm.
Then I copied him,
Mm-hmm.
and we won.
T. Higgins being out, Jamar Chase's
It
contract thing
shouldn't
being
matter.
up
The
in the
Patriots won't win
You're
another
right.
game this year.
air. Bro, I'm with you, brother.
I
But
don't understand.
you watch any of those highlights from that game, and first of all, you should be committed
don't
to an
wanna watch
insane
any of
asylum
those.
if you do, because I did, and I feel like I should be taken away. And the Bengals have no cohesion. They have no offensive flow.
Clearly,
they have
didn't
no
score anything.
they have no identity anymore.
Joe Burrow has some hair flow going.
Yeah, he looks like he's in midlife crisis mode.
Looks like he should be in sync.
Yeah, he's just that team and their defense is not good, and the fact that Jacoby Brissett and the Patriots,
who he also did nothing.
yeah, right, right.
I didn't watch the game, but nothing happened according statistically.
No, I would be shocked if there was 300 yards of offense between those two teams combined. Like with how
Yeah,
terrible
I
it
would
went.
have
Like
to look,
Bengals and Patriots?
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure Ramondre had like 30 rushing attempts for like 100 yards and like a touchdown or something like
Yikes.
that. And that was for me was just kind of like that. I'm not going to take a chance.
Yeah.
Because you haven't mentioned this yet, but you get one mulligan a year.
Yep.
So if you did pick the Bengals or a team that lost this week, you're still in it, but now you don't have that buffer. So
Yep.
I wanted the buffer.
And you only get to use a team once.
Yes.
Yep.
So we both ended up picking the Chargers.
who weren't all that impressive.
Which was
and could have thrown
scaring.
away
It was
the game,
scaring
too.
me. It was scaring me right away. And we had a birthday party to go to that night, and I turned to Matt when we were just sitting there. I'm like, "Is that what gambling feels like?" I was just sitting
Yes.
there. You remember I
Yes,
asked you that?
Exactly
Yes,
what it
brother.
feels
I
like.
was sitting there, and I was like, "Gosh, this is week 1. This game is not going well." I'm like, "Mike, this sucks."
And you don't even have $1 on it.
I don't. Well, we got money in the pool,
yeah,
but you're right. I don't
yeah,
have any
yeah.
money in like the betting side of things.
But yes, it is absolutely what betting feels like.
Ouch.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd ever get addicted to that.
So who you picking week 2, Trevor? This is going to be a bounce back.
The Chargers, I think, because
You're
they're playing the
picking Chargers.
Panthers.
Okay. All right.
If the Panthers somehow look good next week, good. I want to be out of this league if that happens. I just quit. I'm not even going to watch another football game.
Oh, come on.
I know, that's
We don't need to
outrageous,
say
yeah.
that.
And here's my question. So Trevor's going with the Chargers. Who, after watching the games in week 1, who are you guys betting against now for the rest of the year? So there's kind of strategy to this, like a survivor
I'm
pool. You
still
pick
betting against the Patriots.
you pick some bad teams, and then you try to go with their opponent the whole time and see what happens, right, Matt? Or is
Yep.
that like kind of the idea?
Yeah.
Who
Patriots
are
and
you? Who are you
Panthers.
not going against? Are you still having the same mindset going in? What's your thoughts?
I think you have to go against Pats, Giants, Raiders. I would say Commanders too.
So still the same kind of mindset that you went into it.
Yeah.
You
Week
believe
one.
in the Panthers?
No, Panthers. No. Oh
Okay.
man. Oh, Panthers might not win a game this year.
My
That-
wife,
more
my
on
wife
that
picked,
later.
My
but
wife picked the Saints.
I never trust like going against the Raiders because they always pull a random one out.
I don't think it's going to be this year, man.
Maybe not, but
They are stinky. They're
clearly
putrid.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Their best players are on defense.
So I guess what I would say is, obviously you don't want to waste a Chiefs pick too early because you might want to hold on to them later because the Chiefs play the Raiders twice.
Yep.
So you want to hold them. Denver is on the stink list. Denver,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Bo Nix looked terrible against a Seattle defense that is going to be very mediocre this year, and he looked like he's never played a football game in his life. Tennessee
It still looked better than Caleb Williams.
is up there. I think Chicago, they're on the stink watch. That
So-
maybe that's what we qualify it as.
The stink watch.
The stink watch.
I like it.
Are you becoming a full turd yet, or are you just a little bit of a fart? They're just farts right now.
They're just farts.
They're just farts.
I like that.
I don't. There's only a handful. There's only like 32 teams in this league, and I don't trust 10 of them. Like that's how bad it's gotten, to the point where I would not put $1 on them to win anything.
Let's go through it quick. Bills, Dolphins. You taking either of those two?
No,
No, that's
Saints,
stupid.
Cowboys.
no.
Raiders, Ravens.
Ravens.
You're going with the
definitely.
Ravens
Yeah.
this year or this week?
Ravens.
Giants, Commanders.
No, stinky.
Panthers, Chargers. I already used my Chargers pick, so I'm not doing that. You're going with the Chargers, right, Trev?
Yeah.
Colts, Green Bay.
See, that's an interesting
No,
one.
Well, Green Bay might now stink for a little while, but
Yeah, so you got to take advantage of.
Green Bay's defense
Love
is
out.
not too bad either. So like,
And is Anthony Richardson going to be able to do it? Because he
But
he
he
looked
looked-
dynamic.
yeah, he looked all right.
But then he also looked like, oh boy, you've only played 20 games of football in your entire life.
Yeah.
Who
which
did
he
the Colts
has.
play last week?
The Texans.
Yeah,
They won, right?
The Texans,
The Texans
won.
The Texans did
But-
win.
They
Barely.
snuck it out,
Oh, yeah, they did.
which Houston,
Which Stroud looked good though.
You're-
Or is-
Stroud looked good.
Yeah.
But they're kind of teetering for me because
Yeah.
they should have blown them out.
Yep. Yeah.
And they
well, I mean,
they
you
did
did
not.
say he's going to win MVP, and they're not going to win a Super Bowl.
Well, more on that later.
49ers, Vikings.
Oh, got to give it to 49ers.
49ers.
I'm not going to pick
I
them,
know you
but
aren't. You already got your pick in,
Yeah.
but I'm just asking you guys just in general. Browns, Jags.
I like the Jags.
You like the Jags? Seahawks, Patriots. Do you bet? Do you take Geno Smith? He looked bad
Here's the problem, though.
against the
Patriots
Patriots.
are just-
Seattle is going to New England. That changes things.
Not enough. New England's garbage. Only the Bengals can lose to him.
Jets, Titans.
Oh, actually Jets might be it this week. I don't ever want to watch Will Levis play another game. I can tell you that much.
Well, are you sure he's going to be playing another game?
I don't think they have anybody else on their roster that can really
I have
back him
no
up.
idea who they have.
Tannehill's not there anymore.
Buccaneers, Lions.
Ooh. Oh, I mean, I would go with Lions.
Let's talk about Baker. We
Baker looked good.
we talked about that upstairs before we started recording. Baker has turned himself around a little bit.
I'm proud of my large adult son.
Yeah. What did he? He was slinging it too, didn't he? Didn't he throw like 35 times?
4 touchdowns, baby.
yeah.
280 yards.
Yep.
Yeah.
He looked great, man. I'm so happy for him. He beat up on the commies defense, which is, I mean, you could probably do pretty well. So I don't know how much we want to write home about that.
Rams, Cardinals.
I mean, you got to go with Rams on that one.
Yeah.
But the Cardinals didn't. I mean, they failed, but like they're staying in at. Who did they even play? I don't even remember.
The
now.
Bills.
But they stayed in that game for quite a while.
They took a pretty early lead, and then the Bills kind of broke it off on them.
Yeah.
True.
Steelers, Broncos.
Steelers.
Bengals, Chiefs.
Oh, Chiefs for sure.
Yeah, but that's one you don't want to waste
No, because the
wanna hold on to that
Bengals
one.
might have some witchcraft in this game,
Yeah.
and that might be the one that they
Yep.
win.
because that's a rivalry right there.
Mhm.
Well, a new rivalry within the last 3-4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Texans, Bears,
Texans for sure.
and then Falcons, Eagles. That is next Monday.
Eagles.
God, that sounds like... It seems like a good game on paper, but I think it's going to stink. I think it's going to be nasty. It's going to be stinky.
Yeah.
Not quite turd zone,
Not
Well-
quite turd zone.
but definitely a wet fart.
I don't know who I'm going with. I am leaning right now probably towards the Rams.
Who did you say they play again?
They play the Cardinals.
Hmm.
I'm leaning that way, but we'll see. Maybe even the Texans and the
I
Bears.
just never know what to expect out of Kyler Murray. So, like,
If the Jets beat the 49ers tonight, I feel like I might change my pick to the Jets.
And they're playing. I just had it pulled up. Who are they playing? The Jets are playing the Titans. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I got you.
That's
Nice. Let's see who survives the longest. Trevor's
better
on
be
the
me.
chopping block.
It better be me.
It might be you. It's about a $940 payout.
We don't need to get into specifics of the money,
Yeah, we don't.
just for IRS reasons.
Yeah, true.
You know,
Yeah.
just in case.
You're right. Week 2 games to watch. Players to play in fantasy football. Who do you like in fantasy, Matt? After week 1,
See,
your team, the other team. I don't know how much you've looked into it. I'm kind of putting you on the spot.
I mean, it's really hard because week 1 doesn't feel like it's really giving us the best sample size. I feel like the best sample size comes after week 4. I just think with Puka being out, Matthew Stafford might throw it to Cooper Kupp 25 times a game.
Every game.
Yeah, so obviously, I mean, people.
But how
he's
long
on
is he
every
out?
draft.
Have they
4
said?
weeks at
4
a
weeks,
minimum.
okay.
At a minimum of 4 weeks. So I think if you got Cooper Kupp, especially if you're doing any sort of bets, whatever his reception total is, or they don't do targets, but if whatever reception total it is, just hammer over because like. Even if that bad boy's at 7, hammer over because he's probably going to get it just based on sheer volume.
Yeah.
Obviously, all those teams that I talked about that I think are going to stink, fade them all. Don't play with them at all. Don't mess with them. They're going to stink really bad. I'm really curious how, actually speaking of Rams Cardinals, how Marvin Harrison is going to play against that Rams secondary, because they locked up Amon-Ra St. Brown last night for the Lions, but they gave up a massive game to Jamison Williams.
I was gonna say I don't
Yep.
know if they really locked. I mean, sure, he didn't get any targets, but like,
But they took care of
Like-
St. Brown.
But that's locking him up, though,
Sure.
if he didn't get any targets.
But-
Because then the quarterback is...
yeah, but I mean, if another guy is wide open, doesn't matter if he's locked up or just.
But if
kinda
you're going
guarded.
through the progressions, though, progression 1 is Amar, that St. Brown guy. And
Unless
then
your
number
guy
2...
has 40 yards in front of him because he's wide open.
But like, so is the focus going to be like they're going to travel their cornerback to stay on Marvin Harrison to make sure he doesn't do anything to them? So is this going to be a Trey McBride game? Is this a Greg Dortch game? Like, who's going to be able to step up for the Cardinals to really shine through so that you can make money on that Kyler Murray comeback player of the year bet?
Yep.
Like
Gotta happen.
that's kind of the thing. You know, I would also say Anthony Richardson again. He's just going to be pretty dynamic, I think, on a week-to-week basis. But you're really going to have to ride his high as much as you possibly can, because just God knows what's going to happen. One that I'm definitely going to say is the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. They're playing Denver next week. They shut down an Atlanta offense that I thought was going to be really, really good yesterday. Held them to 10 points, had 2 picks. Absolutely manhandled them. TJ Watt looks like he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. So if you want a solid defense option, you probably can't pick them up because a lot of them got drafted. The Steelers defense got drafted. But against Denver next week, I mean, they might make Bo Nix throw 4 picks. Might have like 4 or 5 sacks against that really bad Broncos offensive line.
That
as well.
under 500 Pittsburgh Steelers comment last podcast says, we'll see about that.
Looking pretty bad.
But it is only week 2 of the NFL.
Well, I mean, they also didn't really move on offense at all. So any
That is
team that
true.
can score a little bit.
And unfortunately, I feel like you got to fade all the Packers players. They're unplayable now. I don't have confidence in Malik Willis, so I had Jaden Reed on my bench this week. Had a great game.
33 points. You missed out on.
33 glorious points.
Mm.
That I'm still going to win, so that doesn't matter, folks. Don't
You're
worry
keeping
about
him
that.
on your bench, you're saying.
Yeah, I don't feel like you can play Watson. I don't think you can play Jacobs. I don't think you can play any of those guys because I just don't think they're going to have any sort of offensive cohesion with Malik Willis. Malik Willis. It might be the worst starting quarterback in the league right now.
Where was he from?
Liberty.
Okay. Hang on. The Liberty college?
Yeah.
Liberty College?
Oh, you want NFL, Tennessee.
Got you.
He's at Tennessee
Got you.
and then got traded just like 3 weeks ago.
Even the Liberty comment threw me off. I'm like, huh, what? Liberty?
See how deep my bag is that I can pull
Yeah,
even the
that's-
college out? Please.
That's pretty good.
Come on.
That's pretty good. I like it. Has any of your NFL bold predictions switched up after seeing Week 1 games?
Well, mine definitely did. I guess the one that I'll start off with that drastically had to change is coming in here. I said I was going to say the Patriots were not going to win a game this year. Guess what?
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
They won a game.
And
So
now they're only going to win one.
So I'm definitely pivoting here. So the Panthers and the Raiders, man, this is the most I've ever talked about those two teams, I think, in my entire life. They face off in Week 3. This is going to be the battle of the number 1 overall pick. Whoever loses this game is going to get the number 1 overall pick. Whoever wins this game is going to get the 2nd overall pick.
All right.
I think whoever loses this game also does not win a game this year.
I think you're wrong about the Raiders.
Panthers, Raiders.
I don't have any faith. And for context, the last team to go defeated was in 2017 for the Cleveland Browns. So it's been a little while. That's Baker. That's Baker's first year, I believe.
That was. Okay.
And
I was thinking that.
Hugh Jackson, who I think has like a career winning percentage of like 10%. He's an incredible coach. Lost like 15, 17, 16 games for over multiple years. I just think whoever loses that is not going to win a game. I can't think of, I take that back. I think Bryce Young might be the worst quarterback in the NFL right now. Malik Willis can hop over him. He's 31st. But I think if the way that Bryce Young played and the way that despite spending all that money on free agent offensive linemen to help Bryce Young out, I mean, they just got mobbed by a Saints defense that is not going to be very good this year. Imagine when they actually have to play a real opponent, what's going to happen to them.
Is the Saints offense that good, or is the Panthers just that bad?
No, the Panthers are that bad.
Okay, just checking.
So I think it's going to be whoever loses that game is not going to win a game for the entire year. But you think I'm wrong on the Raiders. Why do you think I'm wrong on the Raiders?
I don't think they'll be good. I just think they'll get more than 0 wins.
Right. So okay, in the matchup against Panthers and Raiders,
I think
Week
the Panthers Raiders. I think the Raiders will crush them.
So you think Raiders crush them?
Yep.
So then,
And then I think they squeak out a couple wins just out of nowhere.
so then you think I'm off base on my Panthers not winning a game?
I don't know. It's hard to say because it's the
That's why
NFL.
it's
They
bold.
could win. They could win one, but
That's why it's bold, Trevor. Be bold.
Should they win a game? No.
Do they deserve it? No.
Professional
Should
sports
the
is
Patriots
wild.
have won a game? No.
No, absolutely not.
Professional sports are wild because you're right. Like a absolute garbage team
one
can just
day
be
they'll
like,
just show up and the other team will disappear. I
Yeah.
don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
they go into the game thinking they're going to win, and then all of a sudden it's a.
But also the Panthers play a lot of teams that are not all that great. So like,
No.
their chances of winning one of those got to
There-
be at
there
least.
is. You guys have
existent.
any bold predictions?
The Vikings will make the playoffs.
Okay.
I think so.
So they get in.
Yep.
Do you think it's NFC North, Lions, Packers, Vikings get in? Or do you think it's Lions, Vikings? Because,
Honestly, it could be all three.
It could be.
I mean, absolutely. It could
Yeah.
be. It absolutely could
Who's
be.
on-
What are
on the other side?
Teams here that are going to be in those wild card
Like
slots. The
Philly,
Rams.
Philly, Dallas. So one of those two teams has to be a wild card.
Okay.
That's true.
And it's probably going to be Dallas because that's what they do.
Right. So then you say Atlanta wins the division or the Buccaneers win their division?
I like the Bucks.
Okay. So
Yeah.
then are you saying
That's another bold
Atlanta
prediction.
is a wild card team at all?
Because
No.
Atlanta didn't look too good.
Okay. So Atlanta out.
I think Atlanta's out.
And we've got them. So now we have the NFC West. Yeah. So Seattle, Rams, 49ers, and Cardinals. So 49ers win the
49ers
division.
win the division. Yep.
So then you're saying all three of those teams are not going to make wild card.
That's tough.
Tell me those teams again.
49ers, Rams, Seahawks, and Cardinals.
I think the
Seahawks and
Rams
Cardinals,
got it.
no. Rams?
See, I'm putting you to it. You got to be able to figure this out. If you think the Vikings slip in, then that means
Well, did he actually agree to that they're going to be third in the division, or are they going to be second?
No, they're going to be third.
Third?
They're gonna be
So
third.
yeah, you have to kick out the
Okay.
Rams.
Yeah.
you got.
I'm okay with that.
So basically, Vikings slip in as the 7th seed.
Yep.
So Dallas,
Yeah.
Packers, they round out the wild cards.
Yep.
Bucks, 49ers, Eagles,
Yeah.
Lions.
I like that. And the good old NFL analyst I am, I went to one preseason game. Sam Darnold looked really good. I know they weren't playing their starters, and I know that, but he was slinging it to all those rookies and all those guys too.
That's dedication by you.
It
by the
was.
way.
It was. It was
Yeah.
dedication. I was analyzing it. I was ready for the pod. I was like, all right, I got to bring something to the house.
I got to crush preseason tape.
Yeah.
I got to see the Division III running back who's not going to be able to afford a meal
Sam looked good.
Okay.
after they get cut from the team.
There's your bold take.
Also, JJ looked good, but you know where he is. He's on the sidelines this year. So
sadly.
I just wanted him to make the playoffs for you guys, and then we talk about it, and then they end up maybe not winning.
So I guess the teams. I'll go for my playoff bowl predictions.
Go for it.
So, what's not bold is the fact that many teams that make the playoffs the year before do not return. Like, that has just always been a big turnover.
Mm-hmm.
There's always been 5 or 6 teams that don't make it back. So, in that logic, from the teams that made it last year, the Bills, the Browns, the Steelers, the Rams, and the Bucks
The Rams.
will not make this year's playoffs.
Okay.
And they will be replaced by the Jets, Bengals, Colts, Seahawks, and Falcons.
Seahawks.
Now, after
Now
week
it's really
one,
bold.
after week one,
Yeah.
that got bolder. That got
Wow.
bolder. That got zesty.
That got real zesty.
That got zesty.
Are the Jets staying up there?
I think the Jets stay up there. Honestly, I think that they will be one of the wildcard teams.
Okay.
So I have faith in Miami.
Are the Bengals going to be up there?
The Bengals, no, they're the ones that I feel the worst about
Okay.
by far. But I don't want to concede the Steelers.
Got you.
I don't want to go back.
You don't
want
wanna
to
lose that one.
No, I don't.
Colts?
Colts, I feel pretty good about.
Okay.
The Colts, I feel pretty good about.
I want to know your Seahawks thought. Because Geno Smith, is that who's starting out there?
Right, but
He
my
did
my
not
boy,
look pretty.
my
Well,
boy
he just
Sam
has to beat
Howell,
out the-
Yeah.
my boy Sam Howell, and I think they're going to win the division.
You think
Yeah.
the Seahawks are going to win the
I think
division?
they
only have to beat
leapfrog the
Rams. Or wait.
They
Oh,
got
now I got
they're
this
going to leapfrog
wrong,
the
yeah.
49ers to win the division this year.
Wow.
Okay.
Because I think the 49ers are going to regress a little bit.
That's
I
bold.
think
I guess
you've
that's another
lost
bold
your
take.
That's
mind.
bold.
But also, think about this. The Super Bowl hangover is real. And many, many teams get affected by it. If you look
True.
at especially all of the NFC participants in it since 2000, rarely are you seeing a run by them. And teams that will not even make playoffs the very, very next year. Now, was my thinking altered because McCaffrey's hurt, Trent Williams isn't signed, Brandon Ayuk isn't signed, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are getting into it almost on a regular basis. That defense is going to regress a little bit. Like that, of course. Now, if they lay an egg against the Jets, I'm going to look like a genius because if they can't beat the Jets, then they're definitely not going to win the division.
True.
But I still think the 49ers are a wild card team.
All right.
I don't think, like I said, Rams, I think they're out. I just don't think that they've done enough defensively to really help themselves, and that was pretty apparent yesterday in their secondary that they cannot stop a dynamic passing offense to save their lives. I even think Sam Darnold might be able to get 300 yards on that defense.
Darn right.
So taking some risks. I don't feel good about the Falcons and Bucks one. I don't feel good about that, but who knows? We'll see.
I like it.
We'll see.
Trev, you got any?
I'm just in awe of him thinking the Seahawks are going to win the division.
After what I saw on Sunday, yes, I would agree with that. But we'll have to wait 16 weeks to figure that out.
Be bold.
Like, making the playoffs is one thing. That alone was a bold take.
Third seed. Let's put it into the sky right now. Third seed for the Seahawks.
Oh, you've lost your mind. Okay.
I love it.
Sam Howell.
No, I don't have anything
Sam Howell,
unique
comeback
here.
player of the year. Let me get the odds on that, baby.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it.
Slanging that thing.
New
Very
kickoff
good
rule
odds
you
for
think is
you.
going to result in 10 touchdowns this year? I hope it does. I hope that just brings absolute fire to
After
the league.
week one, I don't know about that.
So,
There's one already, though.
There's one, but there's still a lot of people just kicking it out.
okay,
That's
here's what I
such
think
a
is
pansy play. I'm not going to get started. Go ahead.
here's what I think is going to be the big change. So Tom Pelissero at NFL Network, he tweeted out this morning that comparing week one last year to week one this year of players that actually brought the ball out and it was not a touchback was up 15%.
I like that.
That's a
good.
pretty solid stat to show they're going to take some risks
Good.
and they're going to go for it.
I still think they should have had it. If you kick it out of the back of the end zone, you go to the 40.
So kind of like if you kick
Kick
it.
him up another
That's
10.
such a severe punishment.
So kind of like
Then
if you
don't
kick
kick
it
it
out of
out.
bounds. Because if you kick it out of bounds, it goes to the 40.
Right, but the whole point of this rule change is to try to reduce concussions, which most
Yeah, but those
concussions
guys could
happen
still
during
kneel
kickoff
it and go to
special
the
teams.
30 then.
You're right, but I think
Right.
after the end of the year, if we ever see those statistics, concussions are going to be way, way down because they're not running full speed at each other.
I think what we're going to see is a very different approach from kickers to try to sky that thing into the air and have it be right next to the 1 yard line.
Kind of like a chip shot.
Exactly. So that when the kicking team is running down, they're already at the 15 when that guy's getting the ball.
You can't. You have to catch it,
Yeah.
I thought.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, you have to
so
catch
he
the
has
ball,
to touch it
and
first, I
then
think.
they can take off. So by the
Well,
time
that
he,
really sucks, then.
by the time
Yeah.
he catches
Okay.
it, and how fast those guys are, they're going to be at the 15 before they even.
I'm sticking with it.
I like it.
10 touchdowns this year. The most that has been made this century in a year is 7. Thank God for Devin Hester and Josh Cribbs playing in the same year together.
Which is crazy that that's only 7.
And let's give Cordero Patterson 3 of those touchdowns.
Okay, I like that.
3 out of the 10. DJ Dallas had a 96-yard touchdown yesterday for the Bills. Looked amazing. I think we got a new kickoff thing going on. I think people are going to be more excited.
I'm here for it.
And let's get a new return god out there. We
Yeah.
haven't had one in a long time.
Put
I don't think
put
we'll
up
have one ever again.
Tyreek Hill Jr. back there.
Jacoby Jones, rest in peace. He recently passed away. Josh Cribbs, Devin Hester, Percy Harvin, Marcus Sherrills. Have we forgotten our gods
Percy
here?
Harvin.
Come on,
Percy
Gods.
Harvin.
please.
Put Xavier Worthy back there and let him just see
would
what
be
he
fun.
can do and run it back.
Ooh, I feel like he's really gonna get hurt. Actually, I think
What is he, like a $140? You're saying he's little.
He's little.
He is?
He's probably buck 50.
Hmm.
But even like the Rams, they're starting running back Kyron Williams. He's the punt returner this year.
Yep.
They're starting running back.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe he can rip one off. Who knows?
Wild.
I mean, I'm just excited for the kickoff rule. I think it's going to be pretty cool. I think they got a really good. There's just a really good chance of it actually altering games.
Yeah.
I just
Unlike
think
what
if
it has done
anyone
in the years
scores
past.
one time, they're not getting it again.
We'll see.
People are done with the Devin Hester idea of let's prove a point and then let's let
Devin
him score
Hester, Hall of
another.
Famer. They still kick to him.
They
That's
never
how you get the
would
Hall of
in
Fame,
this,
baby.
I can guarantee you
Mhm.
that.
hmm Let's see 10 touchdowns.
You
this
know,
year.
if they would
I
have
hope.
kicked to him all year, 7 would definitely not be the record.
No, I think Devin Hester would
He
have had
would've-
7 by himself.
Yeah, easily.
God, he was such a menace.
Was it the first half they kicked to him? Like, just let's see if he can keep doing it, and then they
It
said no
didn't
more.
take very long for them to stop.
But it was punts and kickoffs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was the
still.
most lethal on punts
Yeah.
because
Well, that's because
he
that's
would
the
get
one
out
they
in
have to
space
give
and-
it to him, though.
right.
That's why.
Right. Well, then teams would do angle kicks and just kick it out of bounds and give
Yeah,
the worst
where
field
like
position
kickoffs,
possible.
they guaranteed that they weren't
Right.
kicking it to him.
So I think there's some real potential. Actually, like the Saints, Rashid Shaheed,
Mm-hmm.
like he had a first touchdown of the day yesterday. He's got a real shot at it too. However, one of my other bold takes is going to be Dennis Allen, who has one of the worst winning percentages of all time. Look him up. He was a Raiders coach and then kind of inherited the Saints team from Sean Payton. He will be first coach fired.
You think he's going to get canned
Mhm.
mid-season?
And I'm going to go as far as to say after they lose in Week 11 to the Browns, he's going to get fired on their bye week.
I was going to say, is the bold take that he's going to get fired or that he's going to get fired in week 11? Exactly.
He's going to be first coach fired.
Oh, first coach. That's
First
right,
coach
yeah.
fired.
Okay.
Even though I think Brian Daboll of the Giants is going to give him an absolute run for his money after that coaching disaster yesterday against the Vikings. So I think Dennis Allen, he's fighting with his backup running back right now, Kendrick Miller.
Mhm.
Look up Dennis Allen's comments on Kendrick Miller. It is the most insane stuff you have ever heard in your life about how he thinks he's just lazy and doesn't take care of himself and he's hurt all the time and he's just the worst.
Dang.
It's crazy
Coming
talk.
from a coach?
And I think the Saints stink, and I think they're going to rebuild that entire thing soon, and Dennis Allen can't be a part of it.
Wild.
Do you have a coach that you think might be the first one fired?
I don't know enough coaches, so
How about
I'm
Sean
gonna say
Payton?
no.
Do you think Sean Payton is going to make it in Denver? Think he wore out his welcome with Bo Nix?
How long has he been there? 2 years now or 3 years?
Well, this is his second year.
This is his second year.
And he's got a lot of money in.
I think they'll
Yeah,
give it.
I think
I
he'll
think
be
they'll give it one
fine.
more year.
Yeah.
Unless it goes really bad and it's from things that like make zero sense to be doing.
Right. And I think somebody else, like if Chicago's not very good, like the entire season, which they do not look very good,
I don't think
I think
they
there's a
will be.
real chance that Eberflus gets bounced because he's been there a couple years now.
Mhm.
They have given him quite the leash as far as like coaching mediocre, terrible teams. The
Yeah.
Justin Fields thing was a disaster for them.
Or
Well,
do
this
they
time he got
hold
kind
on?
of screwed. If this turns out as a bad QB as well,
Yeah.
that's I don't know if that's really on him. That's like
Or do they hold on to him and let him ride it out until they put that new stadium up, and then start
no,
turning
this is the
things around?
NFL. That
No,
doesn't
no,
happen.
no. Do you hear that? Just listen closely. That's Bill Belichick's music. He's coming in. He's coming into the Windy City.
To
In my head, I had
Chicago.
like the John
Yeah.
Cena thing. going.
Exactly.
Bill
Is that John
Belichick.
Cena?
Bill
No.
Belichick is only going to
It's
come
Bill
back.
Belichick and his girlfriend that's younger than all of us.
Oh my god!
Coming into the Windy City, baby. Honestly, I think, like Dallas, like Mike McCarthy, if it doesn't go well there, I know Belichick's been rumored for that job for years now,
Mike McCarthy's always on the chopping block. Anyone in Dallas is always on the chopping block, no matter what.
as well as he
Yeah.
should be. As well as he should
I
be.
feel like that's in Green Bay as well.
Also, I think you could say for like Robert Saleh, he's the Jets coach. It has not been good, but Aaron Rodgers tore his meniscus or tore his Achilles so quickly that he pretty much was like, "Oh, go ahead, keep playing.
Yeah.
We know you were a part of the Zach Wilson thing, but you know
Yeah.
that's fine. You can keep going." Actually, Zach Wilson is the backup in Denver too, so that's why I was kind of wondering if
Oh, really?
maybe Sean Payton is on the chopping block. Because if this Bo Nix thing doesn't work, then it's Zach Wilson's time.
Man.
You hear that music? That's Zach Wilson coming in.
What's that theme song? What's Bill Belichick's theme song? What do you think?
It's probably like he's a Navy man, so you know, probably some midshipman stuff.
All right.
You know,
Okay.
whatever, some nice military music.
I like it. I like it.
You got to have a bold take, Taylor. Come on.
I don't, and I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not. I just want good games, and I'm learning a lot through you guys. I've never really followed the NFL. I've never really watched the
I
NFL.
mean, he already had a bold take. The Vikings are going to be third in our division.
I think the
and
Vikings
make
are going to
the
be third in the
playoffs.
division
That's
and make
pretty
the
bold.
playoffs.
But I watched him physically pull that out of his rectum.
I did.
Yeah.
It was nice.
All right. So as it usually is on this podcast, I'll keep going. So C.J. Stroud is going to throw 50 touchdown passes and will win MVP this year, but will not make the Super Bowl.
I can get
After
behind
week
that one.
one, that doesn't look that bold anymore.
I can get behind that
The
one.
last time somebody threw 50 touchdowns was Mahomes in 2018.
Patrick.
So it's been a little bit. So and actually the only quarterbacks that throw 50 are Mahomes, Manning, and Brady in a season. So it's not the most
Drew
common thing.
Brees
Or
never
Drew
did
Brees
it?
as well.
I was
Excuse
gonna
me.
say.
Yeah, Drew Brees as well.
And
Yep.
then I was even going to ask Phillip Rivers because he slanged it back in the day, but he
Yeah,
never
it was a
made
little- It was a
50.
little different. No, it's a little different.
Well, who was he throwing to? Who was that big tight end? Antonio Gates.
baby.
Yeah,
He probably
Yeah.
hit 49 every year he played or
probably
something.
with that weird release. I don't know how he did it. Okay, keep going. CJ Stroud 50 touchdowns.
I think the Texans are going to be good.
Yep.
I think the Texans are making a massive push this year to really go for it. I think he looked absolutely incredible against the Browns in the playoffs last year and really held his own against a really great Baltimore defense last year. And it just kind of, everybody else kind of crumbled around him. Mm-hmm. He also lost Tank Dell in the middle of last year. Now he's got Diggs, who looked pretty good as much as
if he's going to get 50 touchdowns, Diggs is going to have like 15.
Well, that's the thing is like I think Nico Collins, Tank Dell is back again. They have Joe Mixon, who I'm not a big fan of, but he had an incredible game yesterday against the Colts. I got a really good feeling about C.J. Stroud, and I think there's been a lot of talk, unfortunately about Jordan Love and his injury, about him possibly being somebody that could kind of hop up into that status of maybe he's an MVP quarterback. I think Jordan Love is a year away from being a year away. Put it that way.
Yeah.
I don't have that much faith in that Packers offense, even with him involved in it. But I think people are dying for a new quarterback to kind of step up into this because nobody felt good about Lamar getting that MVP last year. Nobody wants to give it to Mahomes again, even though they're the best team in the league.
I do.
Jalen Hurts is a running back who plays quarterback. And
True.
Justin Herbert won't rise up to the potential. Brock Purdy is not that good. Nobody wants to give an MVP to Aaron Rodgers. There's not like a good crop of quarterbacks here that they can
things
like
go
mint.
absolutely crazy.
You
You can make
left
some
out-
serious money off Jared Goff doing it.
Jared Goff, I like him as kind of a fringe guy because let's say Lions go
What's the thing?
14 and
They're
3
gonna
this year.
go really good probably this year, but I still don't think he wins the MVP.
He's going to have to throw 45 to
well,
50
the other
touchdowns.
problem is he
49.
has two
He's gonna have-
running,
yeah,
he has
he's
two
gonna have to
running
throw a
backs
lot.
that are beasts. So like,
Right. So that's not their identity.
yeah, so you can't really
Houston
give him
is that-
all the
that's
credit
their identity.
anymore.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Houston's identity is for Stroud to throw the ball 50 to 60 times a game.
yeah.
And they're always going to go for that. So I really think like there's going to be a game where like CJ Stroud has 6 touchdowns in a game. Like they're going to end up playing a really bad team and he's going to just crush them.
Even if they're really, they won't even run it then.
I think they're going to try to give him an MVP.
Okay.
This is their moment. This
Hey,
is their time.
And those are the kind of NFL games I like. I like
Absolutely.
seeing people just slang it all over the place,
But I just think there's such a badly needed
like Sam Darnold.
narrative MVP that needs to come into place here because there's no running backs, there's no wide receivers stepping up to it.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, like all of those guys are not. Joe Burrow, throw
Mhm.
him into there as well. They're not stepping up into that next like. Okay, they're having a complete insane season. Like it was undeniable that C.J. Stroud deserved to be Offensive Rookie of the Year last year. Like there was nobody even really close
Yeah.
to his
Yeah.
pedigree.
That is true.
So I think it's bold, but 50 touchdowns, gonna win MVP. But I am making it a rule for myself until I see them lose again. I am not picking against the Chiefs. I'm not picking against them anymore.
Smart man.
Patrick Mahomes is a demon sent from hell to torture us. He is the heir apparent to Tom Brady, who ironically he lost a Super Bowl to. But I just think Patrick Mahomes is going to do this. And I think as long as he exists, they should be the favorite, no matter what. No matter
Yeah.
if Travis Kelce is not on that team.
I still stand by that. That only is when playoff time comes around. During the regular season, like
Right. I don't
pick
think
whoever you want.
I don't think Patrick Mahomes cares about MVPs or
No.
any more individual accolades.
Well,
I
he's
think
screwed
that's
out of
He's-
it anyway.
he
There's
has
no
him.
choice. Like
I think that whole thing is completely behind him, and now it is just he doesn't care if they're the 3 seed, because he can go into Buffalo, he can go into Cincinnati, he can go into Baltimore,
Yeah.
and he can rip their hearts out.
He can win anywhere.
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to him anymore of
Yeah.
what that's going to look like. I think it matters an insane amount for Houston, who has been so bad for like 6-7 years, to actually put together a quality team and really, really go for it. And they spent an insane amount of money this offseason to do it too.
Yeah. I like it. Those are bold.
Bold.
Bold, bold, bold.
Bold, bold. Everybody should bet on them.
Houston?
Everybody should bet on all of my bold takes.
Oh, I agree.
Yes.
Or do you have any money out there on them? Don't
I
have
wish.
to disclose the amount, but
I wish.
no,
I can't say if I do because
that is right.
we live in a state that doesn't allow it.
You're right. You're right. Good point. Good point.
So I can't
yeah, you could
say.
have said that you would travel
anything.
to the other states.
Well, one could do
Iowa.
that. Yes, one could do that. One could do that.
Love it. All right, we're going to get into some rapid fire questions for the fellas, NFL and sports specific. Going to start it off easy, and I think we mentioned this in past podcasts. Your favorite sport movie of all time?
What was the one I said this last time?
Can we agree on Moneyball?
Oh, we're agreeing on this. Moneyball, that was in my top 3 when I said it, but you also haven't watched the ones that I put above that, I don't think.
That's
he didn't watch
true.
any of the basketball
So,
ones.
I
you're
have
right.
not seen Coach Carter or Glory Road.
Yep.
So I'm going to say personally Moneyball.
All right.
And then Warrior was the other one I had up there, but yeah.
Warrior. I
That's a
can
good
get
one.
behind that.
Yeah,
can
either
get
one of
behind-
those
I can
two.
get
They're
behind.
tied.
Yeah.
What athlete, past or present in the NFL, do you admire the most?
That's a good question. You know what? I'm going to say Harrison Smith. Sam actually pointed this out yesterday. One, just to
Also,
say,
your son was wearing the wrong jersey. I don't know what's going on there.
he got Justin Jefferson.
I know, but Harrison.
I know. Well, Sam pointed
That's
this
why he's
out
going with
yesterday
Harrison Smith.
to say
There's 2 options even.
Harrison Phillips, Harrison Smith.
Yeah.
We're good. But like Harrison Smith has been with the Vikings for so long, and he's taken less money to stay, and like he's really an anchor back there. He looks like he has cement in his feet sometimes, but
He does.
but it's just so nice to have him as kind of like just an anchor for our defense. He is like a tier below like an Ed Reed kind of person to me. Where like they're both kind of ball hawks. Harrison Smith does not have the athleticism that Ed Reed did. But somebody that was on the same team for a very long time, held it down, was really, really good. I don't think Harrison Smith makes a Hall of Fame, but I do think he makes the Ring of Honor for the Vikings someday.
Oh, for sure. He'll get the Ring of Honor, I think.
Yeah.
Wait, this was any time, right?
This was any time. Yeah, it can be anyone.
I'm going to go Harrison Smith.
I was going to pull out Chris Carter. I
Ooh.
just
CC.
loved watching Chris Carter, everything about Chris Carter.
Dante Culpepper to Chris Carter.
Ooh,
Oh,
love it.
70 yards.
How about shout out Andrew Luck? What a giant what if that whole thing is.
And also a
for
genius
him.
for getting out.
How many
And
years did he play for?
Only a handful.
Man.
Yeah, it was- I don't even know what it was.
Didn't he
but-
sign a huge contract the year before he retired?
Yep.
Yeah.
Smart man.
Smart guy.
And just the fact that he knew like my organs are getting lacerated on a weekly
Yeah.
basis.
Yeah.
I don't think I should do this anymore.
That poor guy got hit so much.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm
was
sure
injured
I'm
all
sure
the
he's doing
time.
well. Stanford educated.
Yep.
Oh, for sure.
Come on.
If you could change one rule in the NFL right now, what would it be?
Illegal formation. Let's go with that. No, I'm joking.
Illegal
That would be
formation.
crazy.
That
Then
would be
people,
crazy.
people would just be
They
all over
would
the
be
place.
lining up
People would be crazy.
everywhere.
Next, he's going to choose that you don't have to have the illegal man down the field, so you can send all your
Right. So what's a way for the offense to really screw over the defense? How about
don't know.
this? You should be able to challenge penalties.
Okay.
Yeah, but we
How
had
many a
that
game?
before, and it kind of
I
went.
just have it whenever.
They had that before?
Yeah, they had the challenging.
It was
where
not
you-
good.
Yeah, it wasn't
When?
good at all.
When was this?
It was a couple years
3,
ago.
4 years
It
ago.
was, yeah, it was
Preseason
like
only, or was it
No,
actually
it was in
the
the season. You could challenge like
Wow.
pass
It was-
interferences and stuff, and
yeah.
it just got chaotic.
Was.
But I still think like that's the divide is like bad pass interference calls that really mess up games, and especially in like the later
I was gonna say,
times.
the
of
nice
game
thing
and
with
stuff
what they
like
did
that.
is like the one. I mean, it got a little iffy on some games, but like the ones that weren't terrible, they usually didn't call them. They didn't change the call at least. And the ones that were like, whoa, how did you miss that?
Here's another one: no field goals.
No field goals.
Get down the field. My God, go for it on fourth down. No punting either.
So 6 points, no matter what.
6.
Okay.
Then you can go like 10 yards back for 1 point,
Okay.
20 yards back for 2 points.
I like that.
So
I
only
like
extra
that.
points.
Yes.
Is the only time you kick a field goal.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. What's the most memorable NFL moment that you've witnessed, either in person or, I don't know, on TV?
Minneapolis Miracle.
Yeah,
I was
that's
there.
It has
I
to
would
be.
have to
Oh, you were there.
Yeah.
So this is perfect for you.
Oh, absolutely.
I
Minneapolis
bet.
Miracle.
Did you
That's
cry?
probably the one that sits
No.
in my head
You
the
didn't.
most, at least. Like,
I
You
did
didn't
not
tear
cry.
up?
No.
How many grown men around you were crying?
There was a lot of people around that were very emotional. There was a guy
we were in
next
too
to
much
me.
shock for tears to come out.
Oh.
I mean,
Yeah, that was unreal.
There was a guy right next to me who did not speak the entire game. Showed up solo. Did not
Next to
come up
you,
with
like
anybody
sitting
next
next
to
to you?
me.
Okay.
And when that happened, after hugging and embracing Sam, I turned to him, and we shared the longest hug that I've ever had with another man before.
I love it.
And we just everybody was just screaming, and it was just so insane in there. God,
Your ears had to just. That's a loud place.
take me back,
Man.
Case
Man,
Keenum to Stephon Diggs.
That's wild.
Simpler times.
What do you think the greatest NFL athlete of all time is?
Case Keenum. No, I'm just kidding.
Case
But
Keenum.
did you
no
see
doubt
his
about it.
commercial the other day? That was good.
Yeah. Best NFL athlete of all time.
Or in the era that you've been watching football?
Can you not give it to like? If you consider like winning wise, you have to give that to Tom Brady
Or like,
or even Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
but I'm thinking like Bo Jackson.
I was thinking Bo
And, like,
Jackson,
Deion
Deion Sanders.
Sanders.
Yep.
Like
Wait, you said it was our
multi-sport
time, or-
athletes.
It can be. I said all time, but then I
Oh,
kind of
okay.
switched it up and said if you want it to be in the era that you've been watching football, it can be.
I'm gonna stick with Bo Jackson.
I
Yeah.
just feel like those become hard ones because like obviously I didn't go back and watch all his games or anything. So
Right.
like
But just think about Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders played football and baseball
Yeah,
at
that's
an
that's insane to me.
extremely high level.
yeah,
That's an athlete.
Yeah, that's
but it just gets
That's
into that
crazy.
like comparing eras type of stuff, which is just kind of pointless to do. 'cause you
Yeah, and I'm not
can't really,
comparing
like-
eras.
Yeah.
I don't really care about that. But man, if
No,
you're
that
talking
was-
pure athleticism,
Yeah.
playing two professional sports,
Calvin Johnson.
Calvin
Johnson was a monster.
Megatron.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wild. Who do you think is going to win the next NFL MVP?
Well, C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, you already kind of mentioned that.
But who do you think is going to win MVP?
I mean, I do feel like C.J. Stroud has a really good chance there. I'm trying to think of anyone else that would even be up there. Like
Say
here's a guy that if he makes a huge comeback, I mean, Aaron Rodgers could even pull it off.
Saquon had 3 touchdowns. How many more
There's
touchdowns
not-
does he have to get to win
Saquon.
MVP?
Running backs are
17?
a done deal. There's no way.
Does he
they're
have to have
pulling this
20
off.
touchdowns to win MVP?
He has to. Yeah, and they have to have like the best record. They
Yeah.
have to win the division at least.
Yeah.
And make
Yeah.
it to the Super Bowl.
And probably run for
Yeah.
2,000 yards.
We're not talking
Actually,
about
when
like
do they pick-
Vikings getting carried by a running back with.
When
we're
do
not
they
talking
pick the
about that.
MVP? Before the Super Bowl, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Who is your sleeper pick for the Super Bowl this year? Like, who's like, they can sneak in there?
No one. The Chiefs murder everyone.
No, not who's going to win. Who's going to sneak in there and lose to the Chiefs?
Oh, so someone on the NFC side. Okay.
Or who's going to upset the Chiefs to get in there?
Again, I'm not betting against the Chiefs, so I'm going to keep them in there.
Yep.
I think the Lions are going to make the Super Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
but
I think someone's gonna upset them, and I wish it was gonna be the Lions, but just because I want it to be the Lions, that's why it's not. It can't happen.
I would have said Green Bay pre-Jordan Love injury.
Mm-hmm.
Now I just feel like they're gonna miss quite a bit
I
of time. They're really gonna have to string some
Really
stuff together.
don't want to say this, and historically,
Yeah, you do.
over the last however many years, has been shown that they can't accomplish this. But Dallas,
Yeah,
Oh.
Dallas. Yeah.
Jerry's World.
You know who
Yeah.
I'm actually going with? Seattle. Sam Howell as quarterback.
No, stop.
Oh,
talking
man, if
about
we see that.
Seattle.
They can't
You are-
mute my mic.
You
They
are
can't.
riding
I have
that
to mute
horse.
it.
You're
We're
riding
pulling
that
you out
horse
of
hard.
this.
Sam Howell, comeback player of the year, MVP, 50 touchdowns.
Predictions for the AFC NFC championship matchup. And I think we mentioned this. Who do you have this year in those two?
Lions.
And you already said you're not betting against the Chiefs.
I would say,
But you can bet against them still.
I don't want to go Chiefs Texans.
Chiefs Bills again, and the Chiefs
No.
just disappoint them one more time.
That would
I
be
would
wild.
say Chiefs Baltimore.
Yeah,
I think it's going to
that's
be a
probably-
repeat. I think that game,
Assuming they don't match up earlier for whatever reason, but
Yeah, it would have to be Chiefs would have to be 1 seed, or they'd have to be 1 and 2 seeds to make sure that they don't catch each other.
yep.
For the NFC, Lions, and again, I think the Lions are going to make the Super Bowl this year. I have faith in them in that. Philly, let's go Philly.
All right.
This is the problem with the
Yeah,
NFC.
maybe.
I don't have faith in the 49ers, so that kind of takes them out for me. I'm guessing most people would say 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
The Packers are going to be in a weird spot. Okay. So you can't really trust them anymore.
But the
Philly
Eagles
just kind of
finally failed
falls
the tush
upwards.
push, which means they're doomed. It's over.
Right.
You can't tush push anymore.
And they seriously have some center quarterback problems
Yeah.
that are
Who
it
does?
could be just a week
really,
one thing.
yeah, really
maybe,
concerning.
Have
Well, because Kelsey retired.
Yeah, I know. And who's in that spot? I know his name. I don't know his name.
But
I knew
can't
his
remember
name.
What his name is.
Did they get rid of the tush push though?
No, they tried it and they failed.
They
at
tried.
least.
Yeah.
But no, they kept going.
Yeah.
Did they get it on that drive that they failed?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh no, I meant like rule wise, you can still tush push.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
There's
So-
not really anything that unique to it. The guy's
No.
just pushing
Yeah, so
you.
It's the Reggie Bush push.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with Philly, Detroit, Kansas City, Baltimore, Kansas City, Detroit, Kansas City wins it all.
I
Got
think
it.
the 49ers will still be there. I think we could see a rematch of the Lions and the 49ers.
I like it. What rookie quarterback will have the most success this season?
Well, that one
You've only bashed all of them, almost.
is
Oh boy. So Jaden Daniels, Bo
Yeah.
Nix, McCarthy's out all year. Caleb Williams, #1 overall pick.
I'm going with Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels is going to probably have the best stats, but his
Does
team is
that.
going to win 4 games.
Yeah, but you think Caleb Williams? You think the Bears are going to win more than 4 here?
Boy,
They look
don't
terrible.
They don't look like they practice passing.
They had
No.
150 total yards of offense, and they won the game by how many touchdowns? Because of their
Against
defense.
Tennessee.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause,
against Tennessee, but still.
No, that's my point.
Yeah,
That's bad.
that is bad.
Caleb Williams should have like 200 yards at halftime.
Yeah, I know.
He should be ripping them apart. And now Roma Duzier is hurt.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that I touted as a fantasy sleeper.
Go.
The rookie wide receiver for the Bears. Now I don't know how long he's going to be out with a knee injury. But he can't even get it to DJ Moore and Keenan Allen.
Yeah, it's bad.
That's not good, man. So, yeah, Jaden Daniels. He might have 10 rushing touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
I like it.
What are we talking
leading leader in rushing and passing this year. Who do you got? Last question here.
Well, I'm going to go Stroud for quarterback.
Okay.
Because, again, I'm tied to this in my bold prediction.
You are pretty in there.
Let's go Breece Hall for running back. No, Bijan.
Bijan.
Going Bijan.
You're taking both of your guys.
Dijon.
Who's Breece Hall?
Breece Hall is for the Jets.
Yep.
Oh.
Watch a game, you degenerate.
I'm trying. I'm learning a lot of NFL stuff with you guys.
Who do you got?
I'm going to be an absolute expert
Breece Hall
next year.
just scored. Might as well go with him.
All right.
Man.
Seeing the research on full display tonight, folks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
that's what you guys are going to get a lot of that NFL talk out of me.
We got
Yep.
Barkley.
Barkley looked good, man.
Yeah.
He looked good. He looked good for that team. If he can make it 15 games, he might be able to string it together.
Yeah.
No 2,000-yard rusher necessarily.
You
but
think there will be one this year?
No.
You're not even
That's
Bijan?
so hard. No.
I know it is.
No.
So I was looking up bold predictions to pull some in.
Yeah.
That aren't my bold predictions, but people's bold predictions.
Oh,
And
that's good. That's very professional.
I was going to say that, but I didn't.
Okay, Bijan had like 60 yards yesterday. He is off pace.
What is that, 110, 115 yards a game?
Yeah, you're probably going to have that much.
Adrian Peterson did it, right?
He had 300 yards in one game.
That's what I mean. So, like, what was
Well,
his
not
average per year at the end of
Well,
the year? It had to be like 120.
It's probably like 150.
I'm
He had a
still
couple
to this day
games
mad
that were-
that he didn't crack 300 in that game.
He had a game where he
296,
almost
excuse me.
Had the
cracked 300.
opportunity. Yeah.
Yes.
And we took him out.
Oh, my goodness. Would that have been a record? Single game record?
Yeah.
Or does he hold that already?
No, it'd have been a single game record if he
That's wild.
Yeah, I think he
'Cause
tied
it was.
Dickerson's record.
That's wild.
Did he
Or
tie it,
maybe
did
he's a
he
couple yards
miss it
short.
by like? Yeah, he might have it actually. He might have the record anyways, and he just didn't hit 300 though.
Yeah.
And episode 10. Thanks for listening, guys. Really appreciate it. Made it to episode 10, and we enjoy the comments. We enjoy the likes. We enjoy you guys rating the podcast. It really helps us out. Tune in every second and fourth Wednesday from now on. We're going to have episodes coming to you. So that's going to be exciting. Other than that, enjoy your week. See you later.